Picture this. Your once promising sales rep, the one that you advocated for during the hiring process, is now consistently missing their targets. Your one-on-ones and your pipeline reviews are becoming increasingly uncomfortable, and you're finding yourself spending more time covering their accounts than developing other team members. If this sounds familiar, you're facing one of the most challenging scenarios in sales leadership that may be not just costing you money, but also energy and momentum in your business. Let me share an insight I picked up from working with many sales leaders across many B2B organizations. When a sales rep is struggling, most frequently sales leaders go in two directions. One is to apply pressure, even to the point of moving to a performance improvement plan, or secondly is to hang back and not engage, hoping that the situation will take care of itself organically over time. But there's a third approach. I call it the middle way. It's more effective and more sustainable. It allows you to support an underperforming rep and help them turn around without doing any damage to morale. It's about deploying caring, clarity, and commitment. Before you can help an underperforming rep turn around, you need to gather data and create some clarity or go through an assessment phase to understand what's really happening. Instead of jumping to judgment or quick solutions, you want to step back and be more strategic. First, examine what I call above the line and below the line behaviors. Examples of above the line behaviors are they showing up to meetings prepared? Both internal and external meetings? Are they making their required calls? And are they following through on their commitments? Here's an example of below the line behaviors. Are they making excuses? Are they blaming market conditions or other external situations? Are they avoiding pipeline reviews or other interactions with you and other leadership? The key here is to gather data, not opinions. In your next 3 interactions with this rep, here's some questions you might ask. Walk me through your planning process for the week. What patterns are you noticing in deals that you've won versus lost? Where do you feel you're making the most impact? Notice, we're not leading here with accusations or assumptions. We're creating a space for inquiry and self-reflection where they can come up with their own answers. This is part of moving from caring to clarity to challenge. Let's talk a little bit more about challenge and the intervention framework. Once you've gathered this initial data, it's time to implement what I call a film study approach. Just like professional athletes look at video and study footage after every game, this is an opportunity for you with your rep to look at their performance and dig in deeper. You can start by tracking these 3 key metrics. Pipeline velocity. How fast are opportunities moving through the stages? Activity quality. Not just the number of calls or number of meetings, but what's the depth and quality of those conversations that they're leading? And then follow through rate. Percentage of committed actions that they're actually completing. This isn't about micromanagement. This is about creating the environment and the clarity where they can solve their own issues and where we can challenge them to move forward and take action. Let's talk about a 30-day transformation. Now that we've gathered some data, it's time to actually implement a 30-day transformation system. Remember, this isn't about applying pressure. This is about actually supporting them, caring, clarity, and challenge to create sustainable solutions for themselves. In the first 2 weeks, I would focus on habit tracking. Get them to commit to some really core habits that will help them move forward and start to build success in their business. Number 1 is starting the day with 10 minutes of reflection. Instead of jumping straight into the doing and running as fast as they can, sit down and spend 10 minutes looking at their pipeline, reviewing it, and figuring out where their strategic actions are for the day. You might want to do this with them the first couple times, but once you've shown them the framework for that, you want them to be able to pick this up and commit to this habit themselves daily. Second habit is committing to 3 high leverage client conversations a day. This can be with a client anywhere in the pipeline. They can start with a warm client to help them warm up, but we want to make sure that they're committing to having client conversations each and every day. And thirdly, just like we started the day with reflection, we want to end the day with reflection. Spend 5 minutes at the end of the day reflecting on what they did that was most effective and what they might change tomorrow to up their game and even improve on that. Once you've laid down the track on these habits, I would then suggest overlaying a digital coaching framework. Number 1, you're going to do some check-ins over text or whatever platform you use to check in on key moments and to make sure that they're focused and see if they need any support. Number 2, weekly video reviews of recorded conversations where you can break these down, just like the game footage, ask them questions, have them self-assess, and use that as a coaching tool to help them improve. And then thirdly, document any pattern shifts you see and absolutely be celebrating any wins that you observe or that they share with you. And we can underline this challenge and accountability with some key questions. Here's some examples you can use yourself. What made today's best conversations effective? Which habit that you've implemented is creating the most impact for you in your business? And where are you seeing or noticing resistance and what's causing it? Remember, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking to build sustainable habits that drive impact in the business. And once again, this is all about caring, clarity, and challenge. The real transformation here, it happens when you shift from being a leader that is solving their problems or telling them what to do to a leader who asks great questions, causes them to reflect, and helps them come up with their own solutions. They will be much more bought into their ideas than they are to your ideas, I promise. Here's some powerful coaching questions that you can use in every interaction. What options have you considered? How would you approach this if you were in my role? What support do you need, if any, to execute on your plan? Remember, this is about creating sustainable change. When they come up with their own ideas and solutions, they stick, they're more sustainable. If you're ready to transform your approach to managing and coaching your underperforming reps, let's have a conversation. I work with sales leaders across many different B2B organizations, supporting them in their leadership and their coaching to build high-performing teams and sustainable results. Book a confidential call with me where we'll review your current leadership challenges, we'll identify some quick wins, and we'll talk about implementing a coaching approach that can help you and your team towards high-performance sustainable results. Click the link below to schedule your call. Let's turn your underperforming reps into consistent performers. Thanks for listening.